Hello everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I'm so excited I'm finally getting this video up because I've been meaning to for I think a little bit over a week, but things have been kind of crazy, so I do apologize for the delay. But I wanted to do a Q&A video. I haven't done one yet, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a Q&A, kind of just discuss all my bookish thoughts, answer some of your guys' questions, to celebrate finally hitting 1K subscribers. I finally have 1,000 subscribers, and I'm so excited. I just want to keep this channel growing, and I really appreciate all of you who have just watched my videos, liked my videos, commented, and especially if you have subscribed. So let's go ahead. I have some questions here. I posted on my Instagram, and then also here on my community page here on YouTube with some questions. I might just do side rants. Who knows where this video is going to take me. But let's go ahead and get started with a Q&A to celebrate my 1K. Okay guys, so it has been a longer journey to get here, but I'm so happy I am finally at that 1K subscribers. I finally hit that goal, but I really want to just keep my channel growing. If you are new to my channel, I primarily read romance books. I review every book that I read. I do weekly wrap-ups. I do end of the month wrap-up. I am trying to get better and do more trope recommendations. I do lots of vlogs. So I hope that you enjoy my content. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I have hit 1K, but I need my channel to keep growing. There's so much I want to do with this channel, and I just love this book community so much. So I'm just so excited. I really want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my video and stuck with me and keeps watching my videos. It means the world to me. I appreciate it so much because this has been a kind of crazy journey, and I've wanted to do BookTube forever, but I was too scared to do it, which I'll get into all that stuff in my Q&A, but I'm just really appreciative. So this is a big thank you to all of you subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. But basically, I just have some questions that I got from you guys. I'm so sorry. I meant to put this up like a week or a week and a half ago, but I had a bunch of videos that I had to film and I got behind in filming them. So this kind of just got pushed back a little bit, but I do appreciate those of you who left me some questions. So I'm just going to kind of go over this list and give you kind of my feedback, answer the questions, and I might go on side rants. Who knows where I'll end up going with this, but let's go ahead and get started. But before I do start, actually, I was so excited because I got some book mail, and I don't really get a lot of book mail from people. I do, and I'm not trying to beg for gifts from you guys at all, but I do list my Amazon wish list in every one of my videos. So if you ever want to send me one, you can. And that's what happened here. I did get a book mail, and I got it from Jen from the Book Refuge, who, if you don't know me, she is my favorite booktuber. I love her so much. I'm on her Patreon. She's just been so kind and amazing to me in booktube. So I was so excited. It's kind of dorky when you think about it. I fangirled a little bit that Jen sent me this. So she ended up sending me a book on my wish list. I haven't read this book yet, but it is on there, and it's Phantasma. So I might end up doing a vlog and reading this book to see if it's kind of worth the hype, because I've seen a lot of different opinions on Phantasma. Some people are like, it's not really that great, or DNF'd it, and some people just love it. So that might be something that I end up doing, but she sent me a little note. Congrats on 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for all your friendship and support. You deserve all the love, Jen. And I just appreciate it. So if she's watching this, thank you, Jen. I am so excited, and I appreciate your support with everything. So that one was really exciting, this book mail that I got. So I just thought I'd share it here because, you know, this is about my 1K subscribers. So anyways, thank you, Jen. You are the best. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just start with these questions. So the first one that I have is name some underrated dark romance authors. Now, I read a lot of dark romance, so I've read a lot of different dark romance authors. Some I do think have hype, but I feel like they deserve more, and I am going to name my girl Pam Godwin. I do think she gets a lot of hype too, and she is very widely recognized, but I think she is honestly the dark romance queen, and more people should be getting her books. I know some people get kind of scared to dive into really dark, triggering content, but I think she just writes the best stuff. And you're going to be seeing quite a few of her books listed here. Another author that I do believe she kind of has a pretty good following, but she is an independent author. I think she actually has a full-time job too, if I don't remember. I might be remembering incorrectly. But that's Sam Mariano. She's the author that I started really diving into dark romance. I feel like she did like the dub con, non-con in a crazy way that like other authors weren't really doing yet. And so I feel like she really kicked off that movement, and then like now everybody's doing it. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's other dark romance authors that probably did it before her, but that's the one that like really brought it to my focus, at least, was Sam Mariano. There's some other authors that are kind of new that I haven't fully discovered. There are more books. I've only read like a couple of them. And I do think S. Massery writes some really good dark, like hockey romances that she writes. Again, like I really fell in love with Jagger Cole, but you know, he is getting a lot more attention now. But I did really love his dark mafia. He writes a lot of kinky stuff. So I think he's a really fun read for a dark romance author. I know people really love Jesky Hall. I thought a couple of her books were okay. The one I loved was Hawk. And that honestly isn't really her dark romance. It's like more of like a cheating situation. So I loved that book so much. It was a 6-star for me on my top books from last year, but like it wasn't really dark. So let me see if I have any other ones. I did start reading J.L. Beck more this last year. I got a few arcs of her last series and I really enjoyed it. She does write good bully, like college, different dark kind of stuff. So I've been really enjoying J.L. Beck more. And then I do have, she does get hype, but a lot of people talk so much shit, and I get the worst drama over my K. Webster videos. It's crazy. Like when people leave me rude comments on those, it just really gets to me. But K. Webster, I think, does a really great job of pushing boundaries and writing darker stuff. Her most recent trilogy that I've been reading is very dark, has a lot of trigger warnings, but she does give you those at the beginning of her books. So I appreciate K. Webster. I think a lot of people view her in a certain way just because she wrote the Wild series and they think, oh, she's disgusting or she writes horrible things. I love that series. As it went to the second generation, like the Unruly, those books, like that got really dark. Like to me, Wild wasn't dark. It was taboo and inappropriate and just kind of crazy out there. But the second generation books, those got really dark. So I was pretty surprised with that. But those are just a few of my like favorite kind of go-to dark romance authors. I think Jennifer Hartman does a really good job about writing some dark romance with a lot more emotion to it. But she also writes a lot of just like contemporary stuff. So I didn't fully add her to that list, but she is another really good author about giving you a little bit of a darker romance, but with more emotion and feels to it. But yeah, so those are just a few of those. Okay, so the next question is, what video am I most proud of? That's kind of hard because like there's videos that I'm proud of that didn't really do well. Honestly, one of the biggest ones that I'm proud of, and it's not just like one video, it's like the whole series, and that is my Rena Kent vlogs. I think those still get viewers, drawing them in. And I think I've gotten more subscribers from those vlogs, which when I first started out, I always do like super spoily vlogs. They're like super long. And I always felt like I put so much into them and like nobody really watched them. But I keep having people reach out on those Rena Kent ones. So I've just decided to just go with it and not be beat up on myself about how long my vlogs are. But I did, if you are not aware, I did read Rena Kent's entire backlist. And I vlogged every book, basically. So one of my favorites, obviously, is my God of Fury one, because that is my favorite Rena Kent. It's my favorite MM. I did cry during that vlog. So some of my vlogs are actually like some that I'm most proud of, because I didn't really think anybody would watch them. One that I loved doing, and it was kind of crazy, was when I did the Binding 13, Keeping 13, and then I also did Saving 6 and Redeeming 6. And those books wrecked me. So like throughout that vlog, I'm bawling. Like I bawled my eyes out reading those books. So I was pretty proud of that vlog. Now those are really long, so I don't really think anybody really watches those. But another video, like what's weird is I really need to do another one, which is like another bully romance one, because that's like, I think my most watched video is my bully romances. And that's kind of how I got more interested in BookTube, was when I was actually searching bully romance. So I know a lot of people really love that. So that one was when I first started my channel though. So I know I was probably really awkward on camera, which is going to happen when you first start. So I really need to do an updated one and that. But I did an intro to Cora Riley, all my Mafia stuff. So those ones I'm proud of too. But I don't know, like, I think I'm just proud of sticking with my vlogs and continuing that journey and really bringing more attention to like Rena Kent's whole backlist and everything like that. Okay, so the next question I have was, what advice would you give booktubers under 1K? Now, I just got to 1K and I've been on BookTube for a couple years, so I don't know if I'm the best person to give advice, because it took, and I think maybe my main thing that I would say for advice is don't compare yourself to other booktubers. I am guilty of this. I would compare myself, see these channels that started around the same time as me, or like even after me, and now they have like 4,000 subscribers, or ones that are like huge. And I'm like, how did they get that traction? What am I doing that they're like, what am I not doing right? And I would like spin myself out when it's like, this is supposed to be fun and I'm supposed to be enjoying this. And so my advice would be, don't compare yourself to other booktubers. Just do videos that you enjoy, have fun with it. Be here for the fun, the community, all of that kind of stuff. Don't obsess over your analytics and like why you don't have this many subscribers, or why this video didn't have that many views, or whatever. Like that gets in your head and then you're not enjoying it. And so I really had to try and get myself to stop doing that, because I felt like I was failing or something and I wasn't as good as like these other booktubers. And so like, what I would say is just do the videos that you're passionate about. Don't do videos that you feel like, oh, this will get more viewers if I make this video, if you don't even really care about it. Do what you're passionate about, do what you're interested in, and just try to keep up with it. You know, a lot of people that have success are steady, like they have a schedule. I've been really bad at keeping a schedule. I try to do 2 to 3 videos a week, but I never put them up on set days, except for like my weekly wrap up always goes up on Monday. So I try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, but I mean, it's never the same. So that could be something that's, I don't know if that's affecting me, not sticking with a schedule. But I say just do the stuff that you love, keep at it, try to keep to a schedule, keep planning, and have fun with it, because not everybody's going to be hitting this many subscribers or becoming this big channel. It's hard, you know, it is hard when you're first starting out to kind of get your name out there. I had all my favorite booktubers and I wanted to do readathons with them, but I felt like awkward reaching out or things like that. So my other advice is to really engage with other booktubers, create those friendships, reach out, don't be afraid to reach out, because most likely they're going to be super accepting and nice to you and want to like bring you into the fold kind of thing. Like this is a really amazing community. I do think the YouTube community is a lot better than like say book talk or things like that. I'm really bad at book talk. Like I don't know how to make short form videos and make these cute, TikTok videos or reels. Like I always tell myself I need to get better and make more reels, but I never do. So I'm pretty bad at that. So that's something that I need to get better at, because I know YouTube shorts and reels and all of that is going to bring more people to your platforms. So those are kind of just basically the main kind of advice I would give. Have fun. Don't stress over analytics, because that'll make you kind of burn out and get depressed, and then maybe not even want to make the effort to film. You just won't even want to get in front of the camera. Okay, so next question is, has your taste in books changed since starting BookTube? Not completely, because I do read a lot of different stuff, but I will say that I'm trying to read more fantasy now. I didn't really read romantasy before, and I know it's very big on BookTube. I just wasn't about romantasy, and then I read ACOTAR and I really loved it, and so that's kind of an ongoing goal, is I really want to start trying to read more fantasy romantasy. I basically I've always had the same kind of stuff. Like I love dark romance. When I started BookTube, I was starting to just really get into bully and dark romance and stuff like that, and taboo. Like I already loved all that stuff. So my tastes haven't completely changed. I have come back to like, I loved historical romance growing up. Like that's how I started reading. I read those old bodice ripper books, and I was pretty young for like the stuff that I was reading, but I get very nostalgic for those books. I really love the historical romance. And so now I've been really putting a lot more emphasis on historical romance, because I hate to see this trend of moving away from it. And like Lorraine Heath might not write historical because they're not really making money. They're not getting their books out there. It's like all these contemporary mainstream books are getting the attention, and historical romance isn't. So this next year, like basically I've started doing vlogging new to me historical romance authors, and just I want to vlog more historical romance, because I just really want us to show the love for that. I don't want to lose it. Like I really don't. So that's really the only thing that's changed. I have tried different things that maybe I wouldn't have. Like a Jen from the Book Refuge, she did a post about it's like the Vrick series, which is the Spider-Mate series, and it was like a spider alien thing, and I thought there's no fucking way I'd read that. And it's one of my favorite trilogies. It's one of my favorite books, and I love it so much. So I've discovered new things from watching her videos or watching different booktubers videos and trying new things. So okay, so next question is, what made me start BookTube? So honestly, this kind of started around COVID. I wasn't really reading I didn't really read a lot of romance. I read like Game of Thrones, those types of books that are like basically like kind of like high fantasy, not really like romantic, not romance books. Or I'd read like thrillers and stuff. And during COVID, I ended up picking up After, which is like the most toxic, crazy series. And I became obsessed. And I binged that entire series. I don't know if it could hold up now, but this is what started it all, because I read that series. I was blown away. It was so angsty, so toxic. I couldn't put it down. And so it got me into like looking up other romance books. So then I started getting on YouTube and looking up romance videos. I started reading some bully romance and I got obsessed. So that's when I started searching bully romance videos. And so then I found Jen's channel. And I mean, this is going to sound like a fangirl, but like I love Jen's channel. The Book Refuge is like the main reason I wanted to do this, because I watched her videos. I thought she was so authentic. I love the way she would do these like long, descriptive, way more information than like other booktubers that'll give you like a couple minutes of something. You really get to know all her thoughts on books. And I liked that a lot. And I always had like the same kind of taste as her. And so I just knew I could trust her with her recommendations. And I really thought it was cool that she had just done this booktube. She'd been doing it for years. And how many videos she would post and how much she would read. And so I was like, you know, I would love to do that. Like, I would love to start doing booktube, but I was nervous. So I was kind of like the quiet hidden fan for a couple years. I watched like all her videos and, you know, I found my favorite like booktubers and I would just watch all their videos. And so like Jen, I love Crystal's Bookish Life. Rachel Reads and Sings, Tiff Talks Pages, like all those booktubers, I became like super, Jessen Reads Romance. Like I loved all their content. And I just really wanted to do it, but I was scared too. So like, I wouldn't even really comment on their videos. I would always like, subscribe to their channels, but I was kind of like the quiet fan. And then I decided one year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. This is my goal. I'm going to start January. I'm going to start my channel and just see how it goes. I didn't know or think that I would last this long. Like I didn't know how it would go. I just thought, you know what can it hurt to give it a try? And so I did start my channel and I like have, it's been such an amazing journey. I love this book community, like just doing reading sprints, readathons, chatting with people. Like I've made book friends on Instagram. Like it's cool because nobody in my life really wants to talk about this stuff, you know? So it's just been so amazing to finally start this. Now, it was a big leap for me to like get over my fears and just do it. But once I did, I just kept going and I have had such a great time doing this channel. So that's honestly what really got me into wanting to do it, was just being a fangirl for Jen and seeing how amazing she was and how much she did with reading and videos and all of that. So I wanted to try it. At first I thought I didn't read enough to like really be a booktuber, but like now I try to read like a book a day at average. And that's because I usually have like an audiobook going and I'm reading another book at the same time. So I'm always like in between 2 or 3 books. And so I am reading a lot, more than I did before I started my booktube channel, because honestly, like I request tons of ARCs, ALCs, I write reviews. So like, I don't just do the reviews on my channel. I write a Goodreads review for every single book that I read. Now I am more extensive with it if it's like an ARC or ALC, or if I really want to gush about a book. But if you, my Goodreads is listed down below. If you want to friend me on there, follow my reviews, whatever. I write a review for everything. I have my Bookstagram too, which I started a little bit after I started my booktube. And I'm always posting on there. I try to do it. I try to post every day. I don't always post every day, but I post multiple times a week and I'll put lots of stuff in my stories there. So if you are not following me there, make sure you follow me, because I post a lot of stuff on there, a lot of book reviews, all of that. Okay, so next question was, what has been some expected and unexpected things out of being on BookTube or YouTube? I think like the unexpected thing is how much I love this book community. I didn't know if I'd really engage with a lot of people or if I'd be too nervous or shy to like reach out to other booktubers. And really, it's been so accepting and I've had so much fun, like just chatting about books, buddy reading with people. I did the buddy read with Bestie Book Reviews, Jessica and Mandy, and then Bookmark by Jen. We all did that buddy read thing because we were all kind of starting out together. And so that has been really great. Just, making these connections. Like, I didn't expect it to be that much. I also didn't expect that it would be like a second job, because I'm filming multiple videos a week. I'm also doing ARCs, ALCs, writing reviews, posting on my Instagram, creating graphics for my Instagram. So it's like constant. Like, I mean, on my breaks, on my lunch, at work, all the time at home, I'm constantly having to do like prep for like my Instagram. Plus, I have to constantly be reading to make content. So it is like another job, honestly. Like, I spend all my free time doing this. So it did kind of change that, like it became like my passion project, basically. Like, this is my hobby. I spend a lot of time reading and doing this. Some of the things that I was expecting was, I don't know, like, I guess just growing a little bit. Like, I was expecting, it took me longer than I thought, but like growing my channel, being able to like reach out to more people. I was really bummed because I felt like my channel was not growing. I felt like I was staying at the same subscribers forever. And so that was kind of like a disappointing thing. And that's why I say, if you're going to start, don't focus on that, because it could make you want to give up, or you're just always comparing yourself to others. So that is something that I didn't think would be there. But okay, so the next question is some all-time favorite books. So I'm going to bring up a few here. Honestly, right behind me, we have the Binding 13, Keeping 13, Saving 6, Redeeming 6. Those books were all like blew me away. I've never been that emotionally invested in characters. I think she did such an amazing job of, like, they are long, they are thick, and that's why I was like scared. It like felt intimidating to read them because they're so long, like 2 books on one couple, and they're like over 600 something pages. So that's a lot. But I think the way she really developed those characters, and it really needed to be that long. So I feel so connected to them. They feel so real to me. I still think about them. They devastated me. If you're interested and you want like a spoiler reviews, I have the vlogs up. They are long though, so just be aware. But those were definite like favorite books for me. Now I talked about like getting into dark romance, and Untouchable is like a favorite for me. It really got me into reading dark romance. I became obsessed with San Mariano. Carter Mahoney lives rent-free in my head. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this, but the fact that the hero of the story, he's not really a hero. He's kind of a villain, but I love him. And he literally assaults the heroine of the book in the first few chapters. And so people were very polarized by this book. Some people hate it, some people love it. But if you get past that first 3 chapters, I think it's really fascinating because Sam Mariano writes it in a very psychological, like looking at like a psychopath's type of brain, and like how would you deal with being with somebody like that? How would you keep him contained so he's not doing those bad things to others? There's just so much more to it than just like a dark romance that just really, really moved me. And I always think about it. Carter Mahoney is my favorite. So this one is always going to be a favorite for me. And then I do have my most favorite Rena Kent that I talked about earlier, and that is God of Fury. This is one of the best romances I've ever read. I cried, and I mean like sobbed multiple times because she just wrote this in such a beautiful way, but it's very heartbreaking. There's a lot of triggers in it too, and why it's so heartbreaking is because I really care about these characters. They go through so much, and Brandon just breaks my heart, everything that he went through with his trauma in his past. And then the way he finds love with Nico, who's just this chaotic disaster. And Brandon loves to live his life in like such a perfect, kind of, I can't talk. He lives his life in a schedule. He's in a very controlled fashion. And Nico comes in like a wrecking ball and just changes everything for him. And there was just so much to this. Again, I have a vlog for this one too if you want to see all my deep thoughts on it. But this is always going to be like a big favorite to me. I was so blown away. This is the best book that Rena Kent has written. And I was so shocked with how good it was. So this was a 6-star. It was in my top reads of 2024. So I definitely recommend this one. And then obviously I have to bring up my woman, my favorite dark romance author, and that's Pam Godwin. I have Dark Notes. I think this might have been the first book that I read of hers. I did a vlog way back when I started my channel, finally reading Pam Godwin, because I heard so much hype about her, but really like she didn't have stuff on Kindle Unlimited. And so I never really read her because I read like pretty much only on Kindle Unlimited. And so I decided to buy a couple of her books and do a vlog on it. And Dark Notes was just such a beautiful, heartbreaking story. It has BDSM through healing. It's just so tragic. I cried during this one. So, and I love this Mystic Box one I bought. It's so beautiful. And then we also have the other one that I read for that vlog. Oops, my pile of books is almost falling on the floor here. And that is Sea of Ruin. Again, I got this one from Mystic Box as well. I got these on Mercari. I just basically kept my eye out for these editions and just kept searching for them that were like properly priced, because you'll go on Mercari and you'll see them for like $400. I ain't spending that much money on a special edition. But anyways, I finally found some that were recent, like a decent price. But Sea of Ruin is like such a dark, amazing historical romance, female pirate. It's got some MMF stuff going on in here. I cried in like the beginning chapter of this. Like Pam Godwin already had me crying. She is one of the best authors I've read in my life. She is my favorite. I love her and I will die on that hill. Like, please, if you haven't tried Pam Godwin, give her a shot. She is writes very dark romance, but she doesn't do it in like a gratuitous way. It's all to tell a story, and it's not just for shock value, which I feel like a lot of dark romance authors do now. They just throw a bunch of dark content in there to shock you and be like, get the clickbaits and get the attention on TikTok. And she is actually writing an emotional story that is important. So that's why I love Pam Godwin. And then I have her recent, the first book, at least I have it. I need to get the other two, which is Hills of Shivers and Shadows. And this trilogy literally blew my freaking mind in 2024. This was my top books of the year. I basically just put the trilogy as number one because I couldn't stop talking about it. I literally had to chat with Jen on Instagram. I was blowing her up on Instagram because we had like the arcs of this, and I just had to talk to somebody about it because this is such a dark, crazy, why choose romance. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it, so I'm not going to go into it here, but just know that like this is everything. Like, this is my favorite book of last year, and I just love Pam Godwin. I will never stop shouting from the rooftops about how much I love Pam, and I want you guys to experience her if you haven't read her yet. Which that would kind of basically go into one of my other questions, is my favorite author. It's Pam Godwin. Like, I love Pam Godwin so much. So I'll keep going with some of my favorite books because I do want to show some of my favorite historicals. This one is last year that I read, and it was one of my favorites. I think it was last year. I think so. It's Forever Your Rogue by Erin Langston. I become such a fan of hers that I ended up buying even her her other book and then a couple of her novellas, because I just want to support her, because I want her to keep writing historical romance. She writes such romantic, moving, just beautiful historicals that I feel like new historical romance authors are not doing what she's doing. I love everything about this book. This is one of my favorite historicals of all time. Like, I just love it so much. And then I do have to bring up my OG, and this book is kind of has some wear and tear on it, but and that is The Wolf and the Dove by Kathleen E. Woodiwiss. This is one of my first historical romance authors, was Kathleen E. Woodiwiss. She was one of the, I think it's said that she's like the first, but she definitely is like one of the, she was like the first generation of these historical romance authors, and she wrote very dark content. So this book literally has assault on page, and I read it like when I was like preteen. I was pretty young, but I loved it. It's one of my most, I reread this book the most, because I don't really reread books a lot, but I've reread this so many times. It's kind of nostalgic for me because it brings me back to my childhood, which is kind of crazy, but it brings me back to my childhood and when I fell in love with reading romance, and I just love it so much. If any of you would want to do a reread of this with me, I would definitely be on. I really want to do a reread again. I kind of want to do one this year. So if you want to do it, reach out to me. And you know, I do have my Discord link down below. If you want to join my Discord, we could always buddy read and talk in Discord about this, because this is one of my favorites. I love it so much. And then this last year, I really discovered, I think it was this last year, or it might have been the previous summer. God, I think it was the previous summer. Time just flies away from me. But I read Tessa Dare during Rachel Reads and Sings like Summer of Tessa Dare. And yeah, that was last year, I think. Whatever. Anyways, this was one of my favorites, and that was Any Duchess Will Do. Like, this is like a My Fair Lady type of situation. It is everything, has everything I want in a historical romance. So it's one of my favorite historicals. And so I just adore it. And then this one is St. Vincent. Sebastian St. Vincent is one of my top book boyfriends. He is a rake. He was the villain in the first couple books. He's kind of like the bad guy. So nothing I love more than like a reformed rake. And Sebastian St. Vincent is one of my all-time favorites. And I always love it when Lisa Kleypas has him in like other books. And you still see him and Evie as like parents and grandparents. And they're just so freaking precious. So this always will hold a special place in my heart. I love Sebastian St. Vincent. Gosh, this video is getting kind of long, so I should probably hurry it along because this is getting long. But, so those are some of my all-time favorites. Honestly, like, I have so many that I just grabbed a couple. Another one is Heartless by Elsie Silver. Like, I just fell in love with Kate and Willa. She's one of my favorite heroines. It's one of my all-time favorites. It got me obsessed with Elsie Silver, and I just really, really loved that book. I really got into Sophie Lark. I became obsessed with Sophie. I loved her Mafia series. Now, I like her Mafia stuff more than like her like kind of erotic romance stuff that she was writing, but I do appreciate that she's always trying new things. So I really, really love her. And then I do love Nikki Harris, which I'll bring this up as the next question because these are like authors. So basically, no, all these favorite books, those are like my favorite authors. So I love Elsie Silver, Pam Godwin, Sophie Lark. I do like Jagger Cole, although I've kind of fallen off a little bit. I love, let's see here. Oh yeah, I have Sam Mariano. I love Nikki Harris. I just have so many authors that I adore. Lisa Kleypas is one of my favorites, favorite historical romance authors. You know, I love Stacey Reed. So I just have a wide variety of authors that I just really adore. So those are some of my favorites. I really found Victoria Lum this year, this last year. She's a new author. She's only been writing 2 years, and I just think her writing is so it improves each book, and she's such an amazing and friendly, and she's reaches out to, you know, her fans, and so I just love her. She's amazing. I also really love Claire Kent. I love her post-apocalyptic world she's created. So I have so many authors that I adore, so I won't keep going because I have so many. But let me see here. So another one of the questions was favorite duets and trilogies, and that's what I was bringing up is Nikki Harris has duets within her Kids of the Dick series, and our thing on Costa Nostra is, I've talked about this so much. It's one of my favorites. It's the first and second book. It's about Max Butcher. He is one of my top book boyfriends. I love this. I cried my eyes out in Costa Nostra like a baby. I don't know. And then I love his Pretty Little Burden, and then his Pretty Little Queen. And that is a really amazing age gap duet. So I love Nikki Harris. I love her Mafia. I love that it was set in Australia, which you don't really usually see. So I definitely love that. Okay, another duet that I just read this year, which is freaking crazy because it's been on my TBR forever, and it blew me away. It was 6 stars, was the Anti-Heroes in Love duet, and that is by Gianna Darling. I have the bind-up of both of them, which is When Heroes Fall and When Villains Rise. I gave the first one 5 stars, and I gave the second one 6 stars because I just freaking loved this couple. Elena and Dante were like just perfection. Like, honestly, like I loved it. Like, it was just so amazing. It's the reverse kind of grumpy sunshine. Our heroine is the grump. She's kind of a prickly heroine, and I love a good prickly heroine. So this one I highly recommend. I love Gianna Darling. So if you haven't read this yet, pick it up because it blew me away this year. And then another duet that I really loved was There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil. This was by Sophie Lark, and this was so amazing. It was a serial killer artist. Like, it was just had me upset to my stomach, nervous, on the edge of my seat, like the whole time. So this is one of my favorite duets. And then with trilogies, I guess one that I would bring up is the Spider-Mate series. Let me see if I have that. Okay, sorry, I had to grab it from below, but the Spider-Mate series, I have the bind-up of the complete trilogy, and I love this so much. Catan was actually one of my top book boyfriends, and he's a spider, but like, it's just so beautiful. Like, once you read this trilogy, it's so much more than just like, oh, it's a spider romance and crazy peen and blah, blah, blah. No, it's moving. It's beautiful. This Brix is just so special. He's so amazing. So that is one of my favorite trilogies. I just read the trilogy that was like the Tangled Lies trilogy by Pam Godwin, and that's like a cheating love triangle crazy series, and that was a wild one. But that's kind of like, I think, all I can think of right now. But favorite interconnected series, obviously it's Sophie Lark's series. I loved, when I first got into his Mafia, I was reading Cora Riley. I love the Camorra Chronicles. The problem is the last 2 books in that series were freaking trash, and it devastated me. But I really loved reading her Bound in Blood, or whatever it's called. I can't think right now. But also Sophie Lark's, you know, the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver is fantastic. So those are some of my favorite interconnected series. I love the Off-Campus series. The Twisted series was really good. So I read so many series. I'm always bouncing between them, and I'm never finishing them. So I just have too many, and this video is already super long. So let me just continue here. Okay, so books that made you cry. I kind of already brought them up. God of Fury made me bawl my eyes out. This was ugly sobbing, like ugly sobbing, crying. Like, these books wrecked me. I highly recommend them. I know it sounds bad, but you know, you'll cry your they made me cry so bad. I cried for Sea of Ruin, Dark Notes. Yeah, so the Cosa Nostra book, I cried during that. I used to say I didn't cry in books, but you can see from that list, I've cried quite a bit. So books are definitely getting to be more than they used to. But those are some of those books. I guess we have one more question, and it's things that give you the ick in books. Now, I was actually thinking about doing a whole video on things that like I hate, the ick, the ugh in books. So I'm thinking of doing a video on that. So I'll keep this brief because I have a few like pet peeves. One of my biggest pet peeves is when we have a virgin heroine that loses her virginity and bangs it out roughly the entire night and then immediately goes to anal. It's so far-fetched and crazy that you're going to jump from being a virgin to doing anal. It infuriates me. And it also infuriates me in books where they don't do any prep. And so it's like literally like nothing, no butt plugs, no working it, getting it worked with the fingers, and you know, you're just going for it. No. I hate that. So that's like a couple of my biggest ones. Another one that like drives me nuts. And that is when I have to read about their nipples getting hard. And, oh, my nipples got hard. You could even feel them through my bra. And anytime I get that they're trying to show the chick's turned on. How about having her get wet or whatever? Sorry to be graphic here. But my nipples don't get hard every time I see a hot guy or get turned on and they're like coming out of my shirt. No, my nipples are hard. It drives me nuts. So anyways, those are just a few of my icks. I have a lot more, so I'll save that for another video. Let me know if you're interested in that. But anyways, this video is already too long, so I kind of need to wrap this up. I'll try and do another QA later on down the road if you guys are interested. But thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed and supported my channel. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you. And I'm so excited to finally be at 1K. And now I just need to keep growing my channel bigger and bigger. All right, thank you to everyone. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on the next one.